Hello everyone, I am Dr. Pawandeep Kaur, Assistant Professor in Law at Khalsa College of Law, Amritsar. The topic of our discussion is Parsi marriage in India. Dear friends, the present module will make the learners acquainted with provisions of the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936, application of the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936, historical perspective of the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936, concept of marriage, marriage under Parsi law in India, essential requirements of a valid marriage under the provisions of Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936. Dear friends, in all religions, we hear of the seven planetary journey. The Hindu tells of seven rishis, the Parsis of seven Amescapentas, the Mohammedans of seven archangels, and the Christian's religion has its seven spirits before the throne. Very well said by Max Handel. Dear friends, I would like to start this module with a brief introduction to Parsis in India. The Parsis, mostly in and around India, came and settled from the land of Persia and the Persian Gulf, and this was mainly due to their persecution from their native land. The name Parsi is derived from Pers, which means Persian province. The word Parsi has dual significance, meaning it has both racial and religious connotation. In India, they mostly belong to the Zoroastrian faith. Therefore, in India, Parsis are also called Zoroastrianism. The foundation of this term, Zoroastrian, is basically based on principle and belief in one God and also on the moral grounds of good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. Conversion in Parsis was enjoyed by the Zoroastrian religion, but in India, conversion is considered against the religious faith and against the customs and usages of Parsis in India. Mostly, the Parsis in India are hugely influenced by Hindi customs and usages. In India, the Parsi personal laws applies to the descendants of original Persian immigrants, persons whose parents are Zoroastrians, people who profess the Zoroastrian faith, people whose father is or was a Parsi and whose mother is an alien but believes in the Zoroastrian faith. Zoroastrians from the land of Iran have temporarily or permanently settled in and around the province of India. It is important to note that in the case of Sarwar Marwan versus Marwan Rashid, 1950, the Apex Court of India observed that Zoroastrian who temporarily lives in India while being registered as a foreigner and whose residence remains Persian does not magically transform into a Parsi just because they share the same racial heritage. An Iranian can only become a Parsi by residing in India, and that is at least a necessary prerequisite. The Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936 is legislation that governs marriage, divorce, and other family matters within the Parsi community in India. The Parsis are a religious minority community in India, primarily based in Mumbai, who follow Zoroastrian religion. The act was enacted by British Indian government in 1936 and was subsequently amended in the year of 1988. The act applies to all Parsis and provides for a registration of marriages and divorces. It also lays down rules for maintenance, custody of children, and other related matters. Under the act, Parsi marriages can only take place between two Parsis who are of sound mind and have attained the age of 21 years for males and 18 years for females. So friends, let us understand the concept of marriage. Marriage is a gift that society bestows on the next generation. Marriage and only marriage unites three core dimensions of parenthood: biological, social, and legal, into one pro-child form, the married couple. Marriage is uniquely beneficial to society because it is the foundation of the family and the basic building block of society. It brings significant stability and meaning to human relationships. It remains ideal for raising children. It plays an important role in transmitting culture and civilization to future generations. Marriage is not merely a private contract but a social institution of great public value and concern. Marriage is a legally and socially sanctioned union, usually between a man and woman, that is regulated by laws, rules, customs, beliefs, and attitudes that prescribe the rights and duties of the partners and accord status to their offspring. The universality of marriage within different societies and cultures is attributed to many basic social and personal functions for which it is provides structure, such as sexual gratification and regulation, division of labor between the sexes, economic production and consumption, and satisfaction of personal needs for affection, status, and companionship. Perhaps its strongest function concern procreation, the care of the children and their education and socialization and regulation of lines of descent. Friends, according to canon law, marriage is a conjugal union of man and woman that arises only from the free consent of each spouse. But this freedom relates to the question of whether two persons wish to enter into matrimony. It is entirely independent of the free will of the spouses. Once a contract of marriage is entered into, marriage is regarded as a sacrament, as an indissoluble union. Only death can put it apart. Further, according to Merriam-Webster, marriage is the state of being united as spouses in a consensual and contractual relationship recognized by law. According to sociologist Majumdar, marriage is a socially sanctioned union of male and female to establish household, entering into sexual relations, procreating, and providing care for offsprings. Friends, the most important part of this module is who are Parsis in India. Many people migrated from Persia to the subcontinent of India during the Muslim conquest. That religious group is known as Parsi. The following persons are the subject matter of the Parsi law in India. The first one, people who are descendants of original immigrants. Second, person whose father is or was a Parsi and whose mother is an alien but admitted to the Zoroastrian faith. Third, Zoroastrians from Iran who resides in India. The Bombay High Court in case of Sir Deen Shah Manekji Petit versus Sir Jamshedji Jijibhai 1908 observed that Iranians from Persia who come to India either temporarily or permanently and profess the Zoroastrian religion along with the children of Parsi fathers by alien mothers who have been duly and properly admitted into the religion make up the Parsi community. These people are all descended from the original Persian immigrants. The Parsis in India are descendants from a group of Persians who were forced to abandon their homeland around 1200 years ago as a result of Mohammedan religious persecution. Further, marriage under Parsi law in India. Parsis are members of a religious minority community that follows the tenets of Zoroastrianism. Their marriages are regulated by Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936. The registration of Parsi marriages takes place in the registrar's office. which falls within the jurisdiction of their territorial limits. Marriages in India differ from religion to religion and from region to region, and each such religion has an individual set of personal laws governing the sacrosanctity of marriage. Parsi marriage is also considered important for its validity as a contract via an Ashirvad religious ceremony. The word Ashirvad literally means blessings, a prayer or God's call to the parties to comply with their marital duties of trust. Marriage and divorce are stated in a separate act for Parsis, known as the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936. The Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936 is one of the most intriguing pre-independence laws of the Indian legal system. Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1865 was repealed by the Act of 1936, which went into effect on June 22, 1936, and amended the law governing marriage and divorce among Parsis in India. The Act of 1936 was last amended by Parsi Marriage and Divorce Amendment Act 1988. Marriages in Parsis are considered to be contracts. However, religious ceremony of Ashirvad is considered to be an essential ground for proving and maintaining their validity. In case of Purushottam Harmasji Dastur versus Meherbai, 1889, the High Court of Bombay held that Ashirvad means blessing and is essential to prove the validity of marriage. Further, the court held that it means an exhortation or prayer that the parties recite before the marital observation. Further, we will analyze the historical perspective of Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936. Parsi marriage is also regarded as a contract, and a religious ceremony called Ashirvad is necessary for its validity. Ashirvad means blessings, a prayer or divine exhortation to the parties to observe their marital obligations with faith is necessary. In the year 1865, the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act was passed. Since then, circumstances have greatly altered, and to some extent, there has also been a change in the sentiments and views of the Parsi community. Hence, the necessity for some change in the law has been felt for years. The Parsi Central Association took up the question in 1923 and appointed a subcommittee to suggest amendments. The subcommittee submitted a report, which the association got printed and circulated for the opinions to other Parsi associations as well as prominent members of the community, both in Bombay and outside. Many suggestions were made, among them by the trustees of the Bombay Parsi Panchayats, who had advantage of seeing the suggestions of others. The Central Association adopted the suggestions of the Panchayat trustees, reprinted the whole and again circulated it. Fresh suggestions were thereupon made in the press and on the platform by associations and individuals. These were fully considered by the trustees as well as the association, and the present draft is the result. On the whole, it represents the views of the great majority of the community and has been approved by leading Parsis. Now, Parsis are governed in matters of marriage and divorce by Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936. The Act is divided into 6 chapters, deal with marriage between Parsis, matrimonial courts, matrimonial suits, children of the parties, and miscellaneous provisions. As per Section 2, Subclause 7 of the Act, Parsi means a Parsi Zoroastrian. Dear friends, it is pertinent to know the essential requirements of Parsi marriage in India. According to the provisions of Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936, the marriage ceremony is valid only after the Ashirvad. Parsi marriage is also regarded as a contract, and the religious ceremony of Ashirvad is essential for the validity of Parsi marriage. Actual meaning of Ashirvad is blessing. It is a prayer or divine exhortation to the parties to observe their marital obligation with faith. In Parsi, there is equal treatment for both genders. The rights as well as remedies are prescribed equally for both the husband and wife under the Parsi law. In Parsi law, valid conditions for marriage are provided under Section 3 of the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936 as follows. Marriage is not valid if the contracting parties are related to each other in any of the degrees of consanguinity or affinity. Parsi law forbids or discourages marriages between specific relatives through consanguinity or affinity, just like other personal laws. Schedule 1 of the Act has a table that lists all the prohibited degrees of relationship. These connections are made through the parents, children, the spouse or husband, the sister and brother. Marriage is not valid if it is not solemnized according to the Parsi form of ceremony called Ashirvad. Ashirvad simply translates to blessing. It has to do with calling on God to bless the union of spouses. The Parsi priest carries out the rituals. Destu and mobbed are the two types of Parsi priests that are mentioned in Section 2, Subclause 8. Any of them may perform Ashirvad. In addition to the priest, there is a requirement for 2 Parsi witnesses. Section 6 mandates that priest performing the ceremony must certify the union using the template provided in Schedule 2 of the Act. Further, there is a legal age of marriage in Parsi law. The provision of the legal age to marry in Parsi law was added by the 1988 Amendment Act. At the time of marriage, male must be at least 21-year-old and female must be at least 18 years old. Even if they switch their religion or place of residence, the Parsis must abide by this marriage requirement. Then there is a legal status of a child born in a void marriage. This provision was also added by the 1988 Amendment Act. The child born of void marriage is just as legitimate as if he had been the result of a valid marriage, even if the marriage was void because it violated the standards outlined in Section 3, Subclause 1 of the Act. Dear friends, Section 4 of the Parsi Marriage Act 1936 deals with very important provision, and that provision is remarriage when unlawful. No Parsi shall contract any marriage under the law in the lifetime of his or her wife or husband, whether a Parsi or not, except after his or her lawful divorce from such wife or husband, or after his or her marriage with such wife or husband has lawfully been declared null and void or dissolved. If the marriage was contracted with such a wife or husband under the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1865 or under this act, except after a divorce, a declaration of dissolution as aforesaid under either of the said acts. Then Section 6 of the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936. Section 6 deals with certificate and registry of marriage. Marriage shall be solemnized and certified by the officiating priest in the form contained in Schedule 2. The certificate shall be signed by a priest in the presence of contracting parties and 2 witnesses. And after receiving the certificate, the husband needs to pay rupees 200 to the registrar, after which the marriage is solemnized. Further, Section 7 of Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936. Section 7 deals with the appointment of registrar within the local limits of the ordinary civil jurisdiction of the High Court. The registrar shall be appointed by the Chief Justice of such High Court, and without such limits by the state government. Every registrar so appointed may be removed only by the appointing authority. Next one is Section 17 of the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936. Section 17 provides that formal irregularities do not invalidate the marriage. No marriage contracted under this act shall be deemed invalid solely because it was not certified under Section 6, because the certificate was not sent to the registrar, or because the certificate was defective, irregular, or incorrect. Dear friends, there are repercussions or consequences for invalid marriage under the provisions of the Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936. First one is, marriage does not alter the status of the parties. Second one is, any child of a marriage will be as legitimate as if the marriage had been valid. The third one is, parties can separate from each other at any time without divorce and may contract another marriage lawfully. The fourth one is, no rights or obligations, like in the case of valid marriage, are created between the parties. The fifth one is, the party has no right to the restitution of conjugal rights or maintenance. Certificate and registration of marriage. Section 6 of the said Act deals with the certificate and registration of marriage and contends that every marriage once solemnized by a priest must be officiated by a certificate as per the form contained in Schedule 11. This certificate obtained shall be signed by the contracting parties and witnesses present at the time of marriage, and then the priest shall send such a certificate with the fee of ₹200 to the registrar of the place of such marriage. On receipt of such a certificate and fee, registrar will then enter the marriage in the marriage register maintained by him to prove its validity and keep a record of Parsi marriages. So friends, at last but not the least, there is a concept of monogamy and the punishment for bigamy. Monogamy is professed as per Parsi law. Therefore, second marriage is prohibited under this act. During the existence of the first marriage, every Parsi who during the lifetime of his or her wife or husband, whether a Parsi or not, contracts a marriage again without having been lawfully divorced from such wife or husband, or without having had his or her previous marriage declared null and void or dissolved, shall be subject to the penalties provided by the Indian Penal Code for the offence of marrying again during the lifetime of his or her husband or wife. The priest who ventures to solemnize the second marriage invites punishment for himself under Section 11 of the Act. Punishment for the priest contravening and violating the provisions of Section 4 of the Act is simple imprisonment for up to 6 months, a fine of up to $2,000, or both. Dear friends, with this, we can conclude from the above module that the personal law of Parsis in India has some excellent features that have been implemented and regulated with utmost care, which help in distinguishing this personal law from other existent laws. But there are many discrepancies in the Act as well, as the concept of Parsi law that need to be improvised and made more adaptive and futuristic approach. According to Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936, there are provisions such as registration of marriages, which includes ceremony of Ashirvad. But on the other hand, this requires a certificate of registration to be mandated to prove the validity of marriage. Overall, Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act of 1936 is an important piece of legislation that governs marriage and divorce laws within the Parsi community in India. It provides for the registration of marriages and divorces. Moreover, it also lays down rules for the maintenance and custody of children and ensures that the rights and interests of all parties involved are protected. In conclusion, we can state that On one side, Parsi law is quite complete and sanitized, but in the later part, there are lot of modulation and changes that need to be brought up and implemented to draw parallels and come on par with other personal laws. With this, we come to the end of today's lecture. Thank you so much.